Top Terror Podcast, episode 39, where we're here to talk about video games, and video games. Yeah, we're actually gonna talk about video games, television, and movies, and even then, there's streaming. Look, it's complicated.
It's so much video game influence.
Yeah, and cross-pollination and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, it's all three of our subjects today have cross mediums. So, joining me as always is James. How you doing today, James?
Oh, Peter, I want to tell you right now, I am looking into a fountain of water so I can have my princess moment.
Why?
I need to sing, Peter. I just need to sing.
I don't think we have the rights to anything you can sing. I'm pretty sure we're going to get copyright strikes if you do that.
YouTube, now owned by Disney.
Yeah, it's happening. You know it's happening.
You know it is.
It's going to come down to Amazon and Disney at this point.
It really is.
Anyway, so first thing we're going to talk about today is actually going to be Hitman 2.
Not the movie.
Well, the movie wasn't called that. Here's the important thing. There's no game in the franchise up to this point, or other project, simply called Hitman 2.
That's true. Because
I know.
Hitman 2 was a Silent Assassin, right?
Yeah, it was Hitman 2 : Silent Assassin.
Right.
So there technically was a Hitman 2, but it wasn't just called Hitman 2. Which gets even more confusing. So, to quickly go over the franchise, Hitman is the seventh main entry in the Hitman franchise in the past 18 years. Because it started in the year 2000 with Hitman Codename 47.
Right.
Which wasn't just called Hitman. And there was Hitman 2, Silent Assassin,
that was
Hitman
my first
Contracts.
One. That was my first one, Silent Assassin.
Yeah, I think that was for a lot of people. Hitman Contracts, Hitman Blood Money, Hitman Absolution, and then we got a couple of weird mobile games before we got the kind of reboot 2 years ago in 2016 with Hitman.
Right, which was also episodic in nature.
Yeah, although it's a little different than the one we got with Hitman 2.
Right.
Because what happened was, I want to say it was around 2006, Square Enix acquired Hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've all been made by IO Interactive, or IOI. But it was around 2006 where Square Enix kind of became the daddy publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we got the Hitman Trilogy and then Absolution, as well as a couple of mobile games, I think.
Yeah, I know Hitman Go was one of them.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
Hitman Go! It's like, who's that Pokemon? It's just a gun.
I was just about to say.
Gun.
Agent 47, go!
This will not end well. And,
what you do to my Charizard? You fiber wire.
Sorry, I really should have let you just enjoy that a little more. I really wanted to get to the interesting thing, which was because Hitman in 2016 was still done under Square Enix.
Yeah.
But this new one was done under Warner Brothers.
Yeah, they actually dropped them. Square Enix dropped in mid-development, and a lot of people actually thought that this was going to get canceled.
No, thankfully it didn't. You can kind of tell that, where the
shortcuts were used.
Yeah, well, because Hitman 2 uses the exact same engine as Hitman, pretty much. Like, there's a few improvements.
Yeah, Hitman 2016 version.
Yeah. And it was clearly designed to be kind of episodic, as essentially being. It was supposed to probably just be called Hitman Season 2.
Yeah.
Because the first one was episodic, and they would release essentially a new map every month. And there was 6, something like that.
Yeah, it was 6. Yeah.
6 plus the training missions. There was 2
and then
training missions,
little stuff here and there. Of course, the contracts and all the little multiplayer deals like that. But the base map was the first 6 plus the training. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one follows kind of the same thing because it's still 6 or 7 maps.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. I can never remember the exact number. I'm terrible at this.
Actually, no, actually you're right. It's 7 maps, but it's only 6 connected to the story.
Right, because there's a bonus map.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, yeah, they did add a few more new features, including the new sniper multiplayer.
Oh yeah, sniper assassin mode, which is very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the fact that you can try to plot how to snipe a person and knock them to a pool so you can guarantee nobody will find them.
I know, that's the really interesting thing about that sniper minigame. And they do bring back a few features that were absent from the previous Hitman. Like, the two that come to mind off the top of my head are you can now be spotted in a mirror.
Yes.
Which is not a thing that happened in the previous game, but could happen.
No, mirrors didn't even work in the previous game.
Yeah, I think that was just a bug they just didn't have time to fix.
Yeah.
But more glaringly was you couldn't have a suitcase to hide your gun.
Yeah, you could not bring your briefcase along. I actually tested it out last night because just wanted to do it. And of course, I know you've seen the video of the magical flying briefcase, and I just had a blast with a friend just throwing briefcases at people as long as I could before I got gunned down.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, the briefcase returning is great, if for no other reason, it's also a very fun concussive weapon. Like, for those who aren't familiar, the Hitman games basically take over a series of massive, massive maps.
Yes. Which have gotten so much bigger. I mean, it's amazing, like, thinking back to the original Hitman 2, where the maps felt large then. I can't imagine how they feel now compared to this.
Well, because there's now something like 300 NPCs on each map.
Yeah.
And those are just the tangible ones. Like, they have other ones that, aren't real, sort of, for lack of a better explanation.
Yeah, because I was surprised that a couple of them, I just happened to take out one random person during the second map, which is the Miami map I think a lot of people have already seen, with the race car map.
Yeah.
And I just automatically assumed that I could change into their clothes, and I couldn't. So that's when I realized, like, oh yeah, some NPCs are actually ones that are just there. They have no effect.
Yeah.
Like, you can take them out, but you can't, like, utilize their clothes or anything.
Yeah, which is a shame, because, like, there's some great disguise possibilities. Although they make up for it with the ones you can just get anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot of variation, a lot of opportunities. And one thing that we talked about with modes was Ghost Mode. Which is the co-op multiplayer where you're competing against another opponent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, it's in beta form right now, so it's like the only stage you can play is the Miami map, which is the race car map. And upon playing that, because I'm kind of like addicted to that stage, it's just so much fun. The fact is, like, I discovered, like, how many costumes in that map alone.
There's like 50, isn't there?
Yeah, it was shocking. I did not realize there was that many opportunities to switch outfits for 47 in that map.
Yeah, because, well, there's plenty of just security guard. Like, the engineers have unique outfits.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the famous flamingo mascot outfit.
Yeah.
There's, like, quite a few different racer outfits. It's pretty nuts. We kind of touched around, but just to be clear, what the Hitman game is, you have to go in and take out a target and then escape.
Yeah. And
ideally, you want to do it as silently as possible.
Right.
Ideally,
but there's a chance that it will not go as you want it to. And one of the things I like about this, and I think is a lot better than the older Hitman games, is the fact that it feels like you have more opportunity for error and still be able to pull off either a daring escape or pull off the kill.
Yeah, if there's one thing is, like, it has more fail safes. So you don't have to resort to running and gunning, which is good because the shooting mechanics are okay at best.
Yeah, melee combat and shooting is okay, like I said, at best. But if you revert to trying to be like, okay, I'm going to run and gun or just try to start a firefight, it won't last long.
No, if you want to play this game as violently as possible, you can, but it's not going to be it's not what it's really designed for.
Right.
And you can have a debate on whether or not it is intentional to make it so you don't want to do it, or who knows. But I mean, basically, whatever the reason, whether you think it's bad game design or intentional game design to make it feel lousy, it's not your go-to.
Yeah, I mean, which is the complete opposite of like something like Absolution, which kind of made it a little bit more accessible to run and gun.
Yeah. Well, even compared to the previous Hitman, like he had, you could get all these guns that were just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, you still get them in this one. Like, what's the Striker?
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's basically an insanely high-powered pistol. You can't silence it, so you really shouldn't be using it.
Exactly.
But it just blows people away. It has like 1980s action movie physics, which is just glorious. But no, there's still plenty of fun weapons. Like, one of the best new weapons in the game. Well, two. There's two great new weapons in the game. You can probably guess what two I'm talking about. One is the fish.
Oh yeah. Well, I just use it for. I know it's good for a good melee, but I just always use it for distraction.
Well, because the fish is good for knocking people out silently.
Yes.
Both as a melee weapon and as a thrown weapon.
Yes.
Because you can throw basically any melee weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other weapon of choice is the rake.
Oh, the infamous rake.
Yes. That has gotten memed so much.
I know. And the fact, not only has it gotten memed, but people have actually seen the rake used as a weapon in terms of just like placing down somebody stepping into it, and then you're compromised.
Yeah, I know. That's my favorite part. Is like the Hitman games. They're so good at details. Just like if you stand around after someone's killed, they will suspect you.
Yes,
yes. I mean, it's always shocking some of the details they don't notice. Like they never seem to notice that much that your disguise doesn't work.
Yeah, I noticed one thing is a big difference in this game than the last Hitman. Is to me, it seems like it's a lot easier to get around if you change your disguise. Whereas, like the previous Hitman, there were certain NPCs or certain enemies that would automatically be able to sense that you're not the right person.
Yeah, in this case, yeah, it's a lot less common, and I love the storyline ones where you have to dress up as like, what was this one guy's name? The tattoo artist, P-Power.
Yeah. I definitely did
Someone
that
takes
one.
selfies with you and doesn't realize you're not P-Power.
But I love the fact that the person that he's supposed to meet up with, the cartel member, actually brings up the fact that he doesn't look like the person on television.
Yeah, I know.
And the wife is like, no, that's just how it is on television.
Yeah, and it's still just like, all right, now I'll be alone with you and let you kill me with this tattoo gun.
Also love the fact that upon getting that disguise, you have a full-blown sleeve of tattoos.
Oh, yeah. I know, it's one of those things, for as much awesome realism as the Hitman games can have,
it's really absurd.
Just a lot of weird...
It's absurdity about.
I know, like, it's a really weird balance, but it does add to the charm of the series.
Very much so. I think that was one of the things that happened with the later version. I mean, the PlayStation 2 and early PS3 versions was the fact that they tried to go a little bit too realistic, and then they went, like, with Absolution, like, full-blown kind of cartoony. And then, like, this is, like, kind of a perfect balance of just realism and absurdity.
Yeah, I think Blood Money is usually pretty well beloved, though, along with Silent Assassin.
Yeah, oh no, they're very much beloved, but it was like one of those things where it was like they kind of went too far into the realism, or they went too far into the comedy. Yeah,
I hear mixed things about Absolution. I never actually played Absolution. I did play Codename 47 and Silent Assassin. I think Contracts and Blood Money.
Yeah, I actually replayed Absolution over the summer, simply because on the 360 version it crashed and then it corrupts your save, and I never had a backup save, so I just like blasted through it during the summer. And I mean, it's still fundamentally, because it's still a Hitman game, it's still fun, but you can tell just like it doesn't feel the same. It's like they made it for that generation where first-person shooters and third-person shooters were becoming the most popular genre.
Yeah, I know, it's one of those things. I mean, they kind of there's always that temptation to ape other genres, but you gotta stick with what you're good at.
And I think this is a perfect example of that.
Oh yeah, like, it's not going to win Game of the Year, I think, for a lot of people, which is absolutely fair, but it's for what it is, like, especially in a world where, like, there's so many, open world games.
I was about to say the same thing. There's just so many of the same games right now.
Like, there's so many because, I mean, like, Just Cause 4, I'm a Just Cause fan. I don't think I'm going to get to it anytime soon.
I'm playing it right now, and I tell you just to wait.
Honestly, it's probably still. I'm assuming it's still fun.
It's okay, but they've just taken some stuff out as I play more of it that I really enjoyed about Just Cause 3. It's not in the game, like, especially when it comes to like the destructible fortresses. Yeah, that was my favorite part of Just Cause 3.
That's a shame.
And it's not an option here. You just you have destructible elements, you have destructible forces, but it's not an actual mission.
Well, yeah, I posted like 20 gameplay videos from Just Cause 3.
Right.
I don't know, we'll see what happens. Because, I mean, like, right now we've got Red Dead Redemption 2. We've got Spider-Man, still a thing.
Yeah.
They're still doing DLC for that.
Doing DLC.
And the DLC is pretty good, too. And then of course the one I'm focusing on right now is I'll mention the title now. Fist of the North Star: Lost Paradise.
Yeah, I gotta get back on that too. I kind of put it on the back burner for some other games right now, but I want to get back into it again because.
Oh no, absolutely,
Yeah.
that one's pretty good. Like those three alone are really good.
Yeah,
I mean,
and like for me,
and
it's Soul Calibur 6, this.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fist, Red Dead. I'm still cranking along with those. You know.
Yeah, you're still posting videos from Kiwami too, as well.
I'm still posting Kiwami too.
The thing.
Man, I tell you, this has been a crazy year. Like, and this is one of the things I feel sorry for Hitman 2 is the fact that it came out at the time. Same thing with Just Cause 4, honestly. They came out when they did because they're going to get lost in the shuffle, and it's totally unwarranted, especially with this one, because it's a game that's worthy of being played, especially if you're a Hitman fan.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say, because Hitman 2 is definitely, it stands out more to me than some of the other games did, and some of the other games this fall have. Because I mean, there's so many others we haven't even mentioned. Because I mean, we didn't even talk about freaking Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Right.
And like this one is unique because it's like multiple sandboxes, but you can get through each one. Like you can do a mission in about an hour or less.
Yeah. I've had some that range around a half an hour. Like one of the later ones, which is the one with the in the more American neighborhood. That one took me well over an hour.
Yeah, and like that's kind of the thing about the Hitman game is like you can beat the campaign in about 10 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't take you long at all. Like for this campaign specifically, I think maybe 6 or 7 hours at the most. And that's but the thing about it, and one thing we didn't note, is the replayability where they have added challenges and other mission stories that you can do to complete the various executions in different ways that make you keep coming back for more.
Well, you could totally get like 40 hours out of this game, especially with the special content, the elusive targets.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that. The elusive targets, which are timed exclusive events that happen usually about once a month or so.
Yeah. It's usually about one a month, and they do come back.
Yeah.
Like, as long as the servers are up, they do eventually return.
And I think they did at least a dozen or at least about 2 dozen for the last one.
Yeah, for Hitman 1, they did at least, I think it was 14.
Okay.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Let's Plays, and they're great. And, of course, the first one that's come out was Sean Bean as Mark Faba, the Undying.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And, yeah, there's enough content here that you'll easily be entertained.
Yeah, especially if you like the last one.
Absolutely. Like, I really wouldn't worry about that. And, like, the DLCs so far has been pretty good because they added the Legacy Pack, which gives you the entire first game in the second game.
Yeah, you can play all the stuff if you have a copy of it either digitally or on disc. Just pop it in or just start it up, and you can download all of the map packs from 1 and play them on 2.
Yeah, which means you now have the benefit of the mirror situation.
Yeah, I was about to say, plus all the upgrades and all the weapons and everything else from 2 are now on your Hitman 1 packs.
That tranquilizer gun.
Oh, yeah.
What? Long-range, silent, non-lethal takedowns? Yes, please. But, Hitman 2, if you haven't played a Hitman game before, but you're interested in a stealth open world game, it would definitely be for you.
Yeah.
It's, like I said, if you're just looking for a sandbox, well, there's probably better options.
Yeah, very much so. And one thing about it, I know you were talking about it earlier, the fact that it felt like this is still kind of like in that episodic formula from Hitman 1, but just actually all together at one time.
Yeah.
Is the fact that you don't have to spend, hours upon hours. You can just do one and sit back and let that just be the one that you play for a little while. And then if you want to, just go do something else or play something else, and then come back and you play a whole new map without worrying about it, just whenever you want to do it.
Oh, yeah, and we didn't talk about the story. It's really not much of a thing.
Yeah, I was just going to even let that pass.
Like, if there's one thing about this reboot that hasn't been great, it's the story, because it's fine, but it's very run-of-the-mill conspiracy movie. Like, it's basically, at this point, I think, secret shadowy government organization fighting secret shadowy Illuminati-like organization. Mm-hmm. And there's a third secret shadowy dude who's kind of playing them against each other. That's basically what I picked up when I've been paying attention. It's pretty dry.
Yeah.
It's very, very dry.
About the shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, if you're a fan of the series, check it out. And if you want something a little special with your episodic or your sandbox games that are more stealth based and really lean into it, unlike Assassin's Creed. Look, I like Odyssey just fine, but it is not really assassinated anymore.
Oh yeah. It's. I thought they were kind of like exaggerating when all the YouTube videos popped up. Like, this is not your dad's Assassin's Creed anymore. No, they're not lying.
No, it's basically Spartan Witcher. But that we were talking about Hitman 2, and the point is, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not gonna make a. Sorry?
No, I was about to say it's amazing because I've seen this thing on sale so many times over the last few weeks, and I still say it's one of those games that's actually worth full price. I do. Maybe because I'm biased. I'm a Hitman fan. Like I just didn't. I liked the first one, but I was like, yeah, that's like a $30 deal. It's like, to me, if I can say Hitman 1 was $30 and this is $30, then I can say this is a $60 purchase.
Yeah, if we're going in U.S. currency, I'd probably say 50, 45.
Okay.
Like Canadian games at full price.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
And I would totally pay 60 Canadian for this. So I mean, that's probably my line. Though.
All right. So still high praise the fact you would pay close. We would all both play close to full price for this game.
Yeah, we wouldn't wait 2 years and then finally
exactly.
Play. That's pretty good. But we should probably move on to our second video game-ish topic, and this is one we're probably going to spend a lot of time on.
Are we really?
Well, yes and no.
Because I mean, it's kind of.
I have a rant for this one.
Okay, I'm going to let you rant on this one because I have a little bit of an opinion, but it's one of those things that I don't have that much to say without spoiling stuff,
I think we're going to have to roll with it because there's something in particular I need to point out.
Okay.
And so we're going to have to talk about Season 2 specifically. So we're going to talk about Castlevania. Yeah, the Netflix Castlevania series. So this started, I want to say 2016?
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's when the
first no, 2017. I just looked it up. It was actually 2017. I thought.
Oh yeah, but it was over a year though.
Yeah. I thought it was longer than that. I really did.
It was July 2017. Yeah. That's why I thought it was 2016. Because it was 14 months between seasons.
Yeah, and the thing about it, the first quote unquote season was only 4 episodes.
Yeah, I know. This is the killer. So to get into this, Castlevania, the TV series, or streamed series, is on Netflix. It's particularly based, at least for the first 2 seasons. They might do something different for the 3rd season. We don't know. The first 2 seasons in particular are based on Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, and revolves around Trevor Belmont.
Right.
Who if your main experience with Castlevania is through the original and the protagonist Simon Belmont, Trevor is, I think, his grandfather?
Yeah, I believe so.
Something like that. It's at least 2 generations down the line. Trevor's long dead by the time Simon shows up. And in this case, it follows, how's it pronounced? Wallachia?
I guess so, yeah, yeah. They didn't say it enough. They didn't say it enough.
Yeah, Wallachia, which is in the real area of, Transylvania, like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And, this is set around, I want to say, it's right around the decline of the Austrian Empire. I can't remember the exact year. It's like the 1600s?
Yeah, I know it's going to be the 1600s, yeah. That's the best way of putting it.
Just the problem, I can't remember the exact year, and...
Well, I mean, they never really kind of bounced around a little bit with it.
Yeah.
Especially with this season coming in, they kind of bounced around like you had the feeling of, okay, this is what they're going for from a time period perspective, but then it was kind of like certain aspects weren't in a line with it.
Yeah. Well, whatever the reason is, Count Dracula's around.
Yeah. Dracula's in love.
Yep.
That's a spoiler from the first 4 episodes in the first season, so that's not a spoiler here.
No, yeah, we're I'm gonna avoid talking too much about like the final bits of season 2, but we are gonna get into
Which
season
were
2
the
spoilers.
best? Why did they make us wait so long?
Yeah, like, so just to warn you now, we are gonna get into spoilers. But if you are a Castlevania fan, you might want to watch it. I'm just gonna say that now before I get into wider recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna need to talk about the show for this. So yeah, Dracula falls in love with a human woman who wants to be a doctor, and then this is around the time also when we've got inquisitions and paranoia.
Exactly.
Especially as like this is the time when I believe this is old Ottoman Empire territory.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Christian church was trying to reestablish itself on the frontier, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
So you kind of had an Inquisition type, like there's a historical basis for this. Like the stuff I'm talking about is kind of true. Like there was kind of an Inquisition at the time. The whole scale I couldn't tell you. I'm not an expert on this. But like this is one of the things that kind of fascinated me watching the show. I'm like, I realized like, there's some historical basis in this. They're actually kind of playing with history a bit. I appreciate that. Because it's not just like, it is unknown year. Anyway, so the church doesn't like the fact that Dracula's wife is being a doctor and being all medical science.
Yeah.
Feeding people, basically invents penicillin before penicillin was invented. And so the church are like, alright, she's a witch burn, huh?
Yeah, she's pretty much an alchemist. And they're like, no, you're a witch. You must die.
Yep.
And she warns them.
Ooh.
She warns them, don't do it. Dracula's gonna come. My husband will hurt you. And then...
She begs Dracula to forgive them.
Yes!
Oh boy, does he not. If you burned Dracula's wife, you shouldn't have done that.
She was just a boy.
You knew where I was going with this. So, as a result, Dracula basically enacts his own sort of holy war.
Yeah.
Which is appropriate because, of course the church is corrupt. Because, look, 9 times out of 10, if it's a fantasy series and it's got a church, it's corrupt.
You know they're evil.
They're either corrupt or 1 time out of 10, they're kind of the good guys, but they also
But they get manipulated
do something
very
morally
easily.
questionable, and then they still do something morally questionable.
Yeah.
Like, what was the... End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The church were technically the good guys, but they still tried to kill someone just for being alive, just so they couldn't risk Satan not coming back.
Right.
Which was still morally dubious. Like that's what I'm talking about when I say the 1 out of 10 times they're not in some way evil. Anyway, yeah. So Dracula starts a campaign of let's burn everything.
Yeah. No. Let's go back though, because in the first 4 episodes of the quote unquote first season, it was not only a campaign. It was like utter destruction is coming after I've just wiped a town just ragged of people I've slaughtered.
Yeah. He's just doing all kinds of stuff, unleashing demon vampire things. Like, it's just bad. And then we meet our hero.
At a bar.
Air quote. What? Yeah, of course. Oh man, Trevor Belmont gets the most stereotypical but well-executed introduction. Like,
I hate to interrupt you, but Peter, once again, the first 4 episodes of the quote-unquote first season of what we're talking about. Like, all the stuff we're enjoying right now are from those episodes.
Absolutely. Like the first episode is mostly about Dracula's backstory, which is awesome. And then it ends with the introduction of Trevor, as he gets outed as being the last living member of the Belmonts. And what's cool is they do tie it into Leon Belmont, who's from a later game. So they do integrate some other Castlevania lore into it, as it were. And they do later on explain why he's named Trevor Belmont. Because it's kind of weird, because he's got an English first name and a French surname.
Yeah, they actually bring that up. It was very nice. Nice little thing.
I love that. Yeah, that doesn't come up until season 2.
Yeah.
And, so the big thing is he ends up meeting with the Speakers, who are kind of a religious order that primarily record history by just telling it to each other.
Right.
But they also... Sorry?
I said, no, go ahead.
Yeah, but they also have magic, which is never really explained, but magic is real.
Yeah, in this universe at least.
Yeah, that's something that just is like, hey, magic's real. Cool.
But not only that, but they kind of explain to it, like with Dracula's wife, where she explains like, hey, these people used to know how to do these things, but they just forgot, and I do now, and now you kill me.
That's fair.
So you're trying to give at least a little bit of an explanation as to, oh yeah, certain people do know that magic exists and how it works, but the majority of society is just plumb forgotten about it.
Yep. And from there, it ties into one of the earlier levels of the game as Trevor has to go and has to fight a Cyclops, who for some reason has petrifying eyes, because Cyclopses apparently are also Medusa.
Yeah.
Or Gorgons, or I actually just looked up the other day. There's a I can't remember his name now, but there's a Cthulhu mythos, the Elder, or Elder One or whatever, who also is basically a Medusa as well. So there's a lot of different bases for this. I didn't know about that, but I mean, I'm not big Cthulhu.
Right.
Sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but random fun fact. Anyway, the point is, he goes to rescue the missing speaker, who happens to be Sypha Bilnades, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's Sypha.
Yeah, Sypha.
Yeah. Who is the granddaughter of the elder of the speakers, and she has wicked awesome magic.
Yes, she does.
Related to an elder.
Why wouldn't she?
Look, it's essentially the magic princess trope, but she's not a princess. She's just the granddaughter of the sort of king of this group of people.
Right.
It's a classic fantasy. It's fine.
She's the chosen one. She's one of the chosen ones.
It's a game from 1989.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have tropes, for goodness sakes. They're trying to you complain about not staying real to the source material, then you complain when they stay too close to the source material.
I know. So they team up, and they help defend the town they're in from attack. And during the process, they just randomly fall in a hole where they find the sleeping soldier, a guy who's apparently had a myth formed about him, and he's only been down there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
That's a small town. A lot doesn't really happen right now.
I know, it's kind of confusing. And then they just randomly find this room, which happens to contain everybody's favorite half vampire or Dampier, Alucard.
Yes.
The poster boy of frickin' Castlevania nowadays.
Yeah.
Because ever since what the heck was his name? Symphony of the Night?
Exactly. Yep. The PS1.
That's his game.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many Castlevania games. I'm not even gonna bother trying to list them all.
No. We'll be here all day.
And there's at least 4 that aren't canon anymore, including a couple I've played. But yeah, so they find Alucard, and it's like, hey, let's go stop Dracula. Okay. End of season.
Yep. I was surprised. I had no idea that was the way they were going to end it, and I expected it to be like 6 months. Here we go. Here's the second half.
Nope. Took over a year.
And then, to top it off...
We'll get to season 2, but I want to just point out a few things from the first season that were pretty true to the second one. First up, animation's pretty good.
Very much so. No, I cannot knock it on that. Very much so.
No, it's got I can't remember the studio, the ones that did Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Last Airbender, not the James Cameron one.
No, I knew you were not talking about that.
Still number 1 box office of all time.
Good lord, man.
I know. Anyway, I was saying, yeah. So the animation's very good. The colors are pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
General designs are pretty good. There's a few weird bits here and there, but it works pretty well.
The majority of the characters are very distinctive, and I appreciate that. I always do.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say the animation's perfect either.
Oh, no. You can see there are definitely some flaws, especially during battles.
Yeah, and they seem to run into a problem when they were trying to figure out how to handle the petrification effect.
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you one thing, they got that gore down pat.
That's the thing. This is very much like a 90s edgelord anime.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's like...
So much gore.
Yeah, there's one point.
So much cursing.
Just to give you a hint, so like, there's one point where a guy gets his head stomped by a horse.
Yeah. There's a lot of pretty brutal... Like, one of my favorites is... It's the classic trope that, people get turned to stone or whatever, and then it's like, oh, the monster's dead. They get restored to normal. See what happens to a dude who gets restored to normal after he's been cut in half as a statue. And I'm just like, oh, I kind of appreciate that they did that. I nearly went on a huge tangent. I'm glad I just stopped myself. But yeah, see, like the banter between the characters, super well done.
Very much. The dialogue is excellent.
Like they even just do angry because Alucard and Trevor do not like each other.
No, but it's almost like a bro hate kind of deal. Like especially by the end of it, it's not necessarily.
Especially in season 2. Remember the bit in season 2 where Cypher's like, "All right, I'm gonna leave you two alone for 5 minutes. Can you handle it?" It's like, we're not gonna start killing each other. Yes, we're adults.
Yeah.
And as soon as she leaves, they just start insulting each other.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they're sometimes a greeting for them is just flipping each other off.
Yeah, that's literally how they end their departure at one point. Is Trevor flips them, or no,
And
Trevor gives him a
Alucard.
nod. Alucard flips him off.
Yeah. He's just like Lamar's like, yeah, F me, okay, I got you.
Yeah. And then they smile approvingly.
Yeah.
It's literally like
it's
a
a bro
scene
relationship.
out of Dragon Ball
That's it.
Abridged. Like, remember Dragon Ball Z Abridged? I don't know if you watched that.
Yeah.
They added a bit where Vegeta flips them.
Yeah.
It's like that, but done for real, in a real adaptation, not a parody.
No.
And it works with the characters.
It really did. No, they did a very good job of creating this atmosphere. Like, I actually appreciate a lot of the characterization across the board, really. It was just the time and effort that they did it with only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I want to praise something else before I get to one of the major problems the series has.
All right.
Music's pretty awesome.
The music's very good.
Like, just music, characterization, banter, just dialogue in general, and the action in general, all that stuff is pretty good.
Very much so.
This series has awful pacing.
It has nothing going on.
Like, I didn't watch the first season until way later. Like, I kind of watched, like, one episode, and then I was like, alright. And I just kind of moved on.
Yeah, it was kind of weird for me, too, because I actually made it through the first 3 episodes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then, like, the 4th episode, it kind of lingered for probably about 3 or 4 months before I even finished it.
Yeah. Now, this time around, I watched the entire first season, and then I watched the entire second season.
Mm-hmm.
And the pacing does not improve.
No, not at all.
Because, okay, I need to point something out here, so I'm going to set this up. Now, season 2, here's the good thing they do. They introduce more bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
So we have more people, and it kind of becomes a bit of a Game of Thrones situation where they all kind of fell under the banner of Dracula. Because we got Carmilla, Isaac, what's the other guy?
Godbrand?
No, well, yeah, him, but Isaac.
Hector.
Hector, thank you. That's the guy I couldn't remember. Yeah, Hector, Isaac, Carmilla, and Godbrand. For like these 4 essential lieutenants. I'm not going to say which one. One of them dies before even meeting the hero.
Yeah, which is so underwhelming.
And I am going to tell everyone this now because they need to know. Way too much of this season has our heroes just hanging around the Belmont Library.
I was about to say, it's a trip to the library season.
Yeah, they spend way too many episodes there.
And it's not like if they go to the library and find like all of these great things in a situation where, oh my goodness, we've discovered this. How are we going to use this to do this? In like 1 or 2 episodes. No, we have 8 episodes, and at least 6 of them are them just figuring out what to do in the library.
5.
Wow.
It's 5. I could tell you exactly how, but then I would be giving away.
Yeah, no, don't bother. I know it's absurd. And then we have brooding Dracula.
Yeah, he doesn't do much.
No, he just stares a lot.
It's basically all Hector, Isaac, Carmilla, and Godbrand. And well, Carmilla in particular is really well done.
Yeah.
And Isaac's pretty well done. Like, Hector's alright.
Yeah.
Hector I'm kind of on, but he was fine. And Godbrand's delightful because it's freaking Peter Stormare.
Yeah, oh man, just great.
And it's Peter Stormare at his most Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Where basically everything he says is hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just a primal being all the time.
Yeah, like, I kind of wish we could learn more about his story.
I know, if they could have had a backstory episode with him.
Yeah, because we got backstory on Camilla, we got backstory on Isaac, we got backstory on Hector, we got backstory on Dracula.
Yeah.
But we didn't get any real backstory for him, which is disappointing. But, something else I was going to mention. Yeah. what's most glaring is there's a scene in the third episode where Godbrand just attacks a village.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't our heroes have been there?
I know.
Like,
or somebody. Just one. At least one.
Yeah. Because, like I said, Godbrand and a couple of others attack a village, and one of the people from that attack does not survive the rest of the season, which means the heroes never meet this person.
Right.
Which is such a waste. Like, instead, as when they have a big fight, they end up fighting all these other interesting vampires whose stories we never learned.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh man, these vampires are multicultural. And I will say, the fight scenes again are really on point.
It's just they made us wait so long.
I know.
And it's sad to even say this, like, these are only 30-minute episodes. It's 8 episodes and 30 minutes, and it still felt like it was an eternity before we got to the action sequences.
I know, and I want to point out, the amount of time that passes between the first season and the end of the second season in present day is like 4 days.
Yeah.
So, by the way, that means, small spoiler, Scythe, which is included in the lore of Castlevania 3, so it's not that much of a spoiler, Scythe falls in love with Trevor in about 3 days.
Yeah.
Which I don't entirely buy.
No, not at all. Like, it just
even though they had some really adorable scenes later on.
Yeah, but it just went from, like, hey, they're chummy to, oh my goodness, she has a crush on him. Oh my goodness, he has a crush on her. Oh my goodness, they're in love.
Yeah. This didn't seem to entirely
Who
track.
knew a library created love so well?
Yeah. Oh, they just cuddled by the candlelight as they sat around reading books all day.
There's a movie in there somewhere.
Not a very good movie. Like, this is really the thing. If you watch it as a whole, it's alright. But the flaws are really apparent.
Yeah. And it's really disappointing from the perspective of when they had the first 4 episodes. And I was thinking, I said, man, once they get everything in order, after setting this up, how many episodes are left is going to be pretty awesome. Because they already have everything pretty much lined up. And no, somebody was binge watching Game of Thrones and said, this is what we want to do.
Yeah. It could have been worse, though.
Yeah, it could have been.
The guy who wrote this, Warren Ellis, is the guy who did the Red comic book. I don't know if you've ever read the Red comic book. Yeah, this could have been a lot more intense.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it's clear that somebody watched the Berserk anime in the 90s, decided to apply it to Castlevania, but didn't learn how pacing works for a TV series.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing about it, and they talked about this beforehand, it wasn't even supposed to be a TV series, though. That's the thing. I think it was supposed to be like a direct-to-DVD or Blu-ray movie at one point.
Yeah, so it just didn't turn out great.
Yeah, nobody knew how to adapt to it after that.
No. I'm going to say, even with all the criticisms we're now, because these are major problems, I don't regret watching it.
No, not at all. I don't feel like I wasted my time. It was just one of those things that, man, you had so much more that you could have done, and it just didn't pan out.
I'm glad they didn't fanboy too much with Alucard, though.
Oh, true. No, but...
they were pretty logical with how they used Alucard.
Yeah, very much so. And I will say that while they had a Deus Ex Machina moment near the very end of the series, I think you know what I'm talking about, too.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
But the actual final scene was awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
It was absolutely awesome.
Honestly, I didn't even mind the Deus Ex Machina that much.
It was fine, but it was just kind of weird.
They didn't build up to it properly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best way to note it.
Yeah.
It's okay, but just to me, it had so much more potential and just unfulfilled.
It happens.
It could be, and maybe they want to. If they're actually going to have another season, they had the basis of something better. It's just up to them if they can execute it. I don't know. After this, I don't know if they can. Maybe just stop while you're ahead.
Well, because they said there was going to be a third season.
Oh, okay. So
that was greenlit, and they said it has 3 season plan when they started this.
Okay, so
I do want to point out that a lot of the people that worked on this had never done a TV show before.
See, that's what I'm saying. You could tell that it was just they were not ready for something like this.
No, because they'd mostly done web series.
Yeah.
Like these are the guys that did that Punisher thing with Thomas Jane. You know, the laundry one.
Yeah.
And they did Power/Rangers. This, I don't even know how to describe that thing. You know what I'm talking about. Do you want to move on to our last topic?
It was better. It could have been better. That's the main thing. It could have been better. It wasn't bad. It just could have been a lot better.
Absolutely. At least give it I would say, you may not end up rewatching it. Like, I'm not in a rush to rewatch it again.
Yeah, I'm probably not. But just, watch all of it at once. Just watch it all together. Do not break it up like we were forced to.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're only about 20-some minutes each.
Like I said, they're under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Not that much of an investment, but...
No, it's really not. It's a nice evening. Speaking of nice evenings, hey, do you want to go show your kids a movie that has a pretty good message behind it and deals with a thing that people actually have to deal with?
Yes, but does the message put more about the people or the thing ahead of its message? Because I wanted more political and more satire and all of these things that would make me feel like the existence that I am a part of now isn't what it should be. I should feel bad after watching this movie, not good.
I feel like you're referencing something, but I honestly don't know what.
I'm referencing a lot of reviews.
Oh, really?
Yes, a lot of major reviews. It's ridiculous that.
Weird.
Yeah, that they want oh my goodness, that this is a picture that reflected our obsession with the internet and how we're just zombies now.
Yeah, the main... Okay.
No, it wasn't.
We're talking about Ralph Breaks the Internet. We're talking about Ralph Breaks the Internet, the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Yes. And
actually, we can say Electric Boogaloo and it would make sense.
And not to mention, they didn't call it Ralph Wrecks the Internet.
Yeah, it should have been. Because, I mean, when they said Ralph Breaks the Internet, I just automatically assumed that, one of the posters would be him doing the Kim Kardashian picture.
Yeah.
They missed out. They had an opportunity. They missed out here.
Yeah. So the first Wreck-It Ralph, for those that aren't familiar, was kind of a parody of classic arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wreck-It Ralph himself is essentially Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And
right down to the face.
And it's all about characters, the video game characters in arcade, and their secret world. It's a secret world type thing, but in an arcade. And they have spoofs of a few games here and there. Only a few, but I mean, it's fine. And we got some real video games in there, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, they actually have real video game characters. Street Fighter, Sonic.
Yeah.
Pac-Man, isn't it? Wasn't Pac-Man in it?
Pac-Man and Q*bert.
I was thinking about Q*bert. I remember
Q*bert gives a lot of play.
Yeah, Q*bert.
Yeah, and then I was going to point out that it's still weird to me, 6 years later, that in the first Wreck-It Ralph, we had a reference to Metal Gear Solid with the exclamation mark.
Yes.
And 2, had a Disney character say, "Thanks, Satan," which apparently is Satine.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess number 3, show a Mortal Kombat finisher where a guy rips out a man's heart.
Yes.
There was a few really shocking references in that.
Yeah, it's amazing because not only this one but also the first one, is some real adult-oriented mindsets playing into an animated film.
Yeah, and then we get this one. Basic premise is when Ralph's friend Vanellope von Schweetz,
yes, the
princess of the Sugar Rush world, which is Sugar Rush is essentially a Mario Kart spoof / Candyland spoof. And when her game breaks down, they need to find a way to save her game, because when a game gets unplugged, characters are left homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And so her game's been unplugged, so they're all safe in the router / hub, the electric hub, but they need the game back to get their home back.
Right.
So to do that, they're like, okay, let's go buy a part we need on eBay.
Or eBoy.
I don't want to get too...
Or eBoy.
Sorry, is that right? Did they call it eBoy?
No, it is eBay, but poor Ralph has the hardest time trying to figure it out.
Sorry.
He calls him E-boy the whole time.
I keep forgetting he does that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that isn't a bad joke, but it's not what I remembered.
No, it wasn't a bad joke at all. It was just one of those things like, hey, if you don't know something, it's one of those, like an uneducated or quote unquote elderly kind of person response. Like, this old video game character has no idea what the internet is and has no idea what anything is like for eBay or any kind of social media platform or what have you.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, basic premise though of the game, like it's not just, it starts out as a kind of a buddy adventure.
I love the fact you say it's the basic premise of the game.
That's right.
I'm telling you.
Tired.
No, but like you said, just so much cross-pollination with this stuff right now.
Well, that's what I was saying, especially because Hitman's had 2 movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania's had God knows how many, I think it's like 17 games.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It really is a lot. Over 30 years, but I mean, still. And then, yeah, we've had 2 Wreck-It Ralphs, and they both reference video games.
Very much so.
Although 2, they do focus more on the internet.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments of, hey, I know what they're spoofing there.
Yep. Which is kind of disappointing, but I will point out immediately, they did a better job of spoofing stuff than they did in the Emoji Movie.
I was going to say that. I know everybody's bringing up the comparison. It's so true.
It's way better than the Emoji Movie.
Oh my goodness, man. That's a low bar. It's sad part because like the Emoji Movie, that's a low bar to say, oh, this movie's better. But it's one of those things that, no, this movie it just makes Emoji Movie look like crap. More so than it already did itself.
Yeah, makes it look like Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
If there's 2, hey, he was poop. If there's 2 things the Emoji Movie did right, it's that Patrick Stewart voice poop, because that honestly never got old for me. Just having the poop emoji talk all dignified and Patrick Stewart like, that really did never get old for me. And the other one was the Just Dance joke.
Yeah.
But in this case, we got a lot of good ones. And some of the spoofs they do are pretty solid. I mean, BuzzTube, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, like they're tempting. And we were making a joke about Disney owning YouTube, but it was like this was kind of close to home. Like this might be a prediction here.
The controversial extended Disney fan site sequence. It's both really funny and kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
Because they go to a Disney fan website where all the Disney princesses are, which leads to Disney poking fun at itself, which isn't bad, but it's also feels like it's just a long advertisement for their other movies.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
I completely agree, but I will say one thing though: down-dressed Disney princesses are the best.
Like the genre awareness wasn't as bad as it was in some other stuff. Like Disney's been doing a lot of genre awareness lately.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it better than others. Like I liked it in Frozen was weird because they had a really clever twist on the true love thing, but they also complained about falling in love with someone over 3 days, and then they do it and they don't really properly address. Oh, look, it can happen.
Right.
Like if when the movie Dan in Real Life does better with your trope than you do, maybe think about it. But you don't even remember Dan in Real Life.
No. I know what you're talking about, but it's one of those things. Like, when you say it, oh yeah, I remember it, but there's nothing that you would think about in just any kind of comparison.
It's not even the most obscure reference I could bust out.
Right.
There's a couple I almost did earlier, but again, rabbit hole. In this case though, if there's one thing I love again is that these movies, like when they're not just the live action remakes, maybe not so much, but like Frozen and now Ralph Breaks the Internet in particular, the message they have is really good.
Oh yeah.
In this case, I'm gonna be slightly spoilery. The whole movie is about Ralph having to deal with the fact that his best friend is basically gonna move away.
Yeah, and not only that, but his best friend sees a world that is completely unexpected, and is drawn to it.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh my goodness, this world's dangerous per se.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to mention the name to extenuate a joke here, but I won't. I don't want to spoil this too much.
Yeah, but once again, have to go on back to the other reviews of certain people. they hated the presentation of Ralph.
I totally get it. Like, no, this is, because it's not something that's really appealing because he's being a very selfish character,
Right.
but he realizes his mistake, which is good. Like, they acknowledge what he's doing is wrong. They acknowledge that selfish, because he's growing as a person, and it's very real what he's going through. Because, I mean, almost every adult I know probably has a friend that had to go away. Like, it's not even like they passed away or anything like that. They're just on the other side of the country, maybe even just like an hour down the road.
Right.
And it's hard though, because you spend so much time with them. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other day where this one guy realized that he had spent the most time away from one of his best friends in about 10 years, which is because they hadn't been separated for more than 2 days before. Like, that's how close those two friends were.
Right.
And now it's just like they never see him anymore. And like, that's a very real, and it's like something I don't think we've seen in a Disney movie before.
Right, and the thing about it was done, not to spoil anything, but just like the conclusion of it was done so maturely that I was surprised. Like, I was expecting kind of like that same twist that we've seen so many times in movies, and instead we don't get it. And it's for the better. It's for the better. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's very much about a voluntary growing up loss. And that really got me.
Yeah, which is funny because, like I said, going back to what I was saying, while I was making fun of the opening with the reviews, is the fact that, like, so many people were focused on the internet aspect, even though, of course, it's in the title. But just kind of like completely ignored the fact that this is really just a very human story that happens to feature video game characters.
Yeah, like, honestly, the internet stuff is fine, but it's really not the highlight of the movie.
It doesn't even take up that much time in terms of, like, the focus of the plot. Like, yeah, it's a big part of it, but it's not like, oh my goodness, the internet, you know, the memes and everything, and even, God bless him, the Stan Lee cameo.
That was pretty great.
That was great. So I'm just wondering, anyone hasn't seen it, keep your eye out for that. That was wonderful.
There were a lot of great little bits in here, like, yeah, they had a lot of cameos from frickin' Disney characters because they go to the Disney fan site, which, but, sorry, it really felt like they went overboard for that sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a lot to make fun of. And they reunited as many of the voice actors for the princesses as they could.
Yeah, they really did.
Which I did appreciate, but anyway, I was gonna mention though, it was funny because watching this movie made me think of something that Papa Bear R.D. Lee, who we interviewed way back in the day, he told me about why he likes Adam Sandler movies. Because I personally do not care for basically any Adam Sandler movie. There's a few exceptions, I'll totally admit that. But in general, Adam Sandler movie, skip. He likes some of the ones that I personally do not care for at all. He mentioned he likes because of the theme. And I really kind of understand his point of view now with this movie. Because there's some gags in this I don't find particularly funny. I still think it's way funnier than a typical Adam Sandler movie.
Right.
But I just wanted to bring up the theme for me is very strong. And I think that's something that a lot more reviewers should have appreciated.
I think so too. I completely agree.
Because they seem to appreciate it when they reviewed Inside Out, which has a lot of sequences that are kind of rough because, well, Amy Poehler's character's pretty annoying in that one. Just saying. I feel like there's a bit of a double standard. Oh, it's Pixar. Oh, we have to like it no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's look as deep as we can. Oh, it's not Pixar. Let's look at it as shallowly as possible.
Right.
I don't know. That's as close as I'm going to get to criticizing the critics. Look, I'm not going to say this movie's perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it definitely has its flaws. But,
oh, yeah.
especially when it comes to a little bit of the pacing issues, like...
Oh, there's... Yeah.
Yeah, well, I understand that you have to have conflict, and it has to kind of evolve a little bit to make the movie flow, but they really went kind of like hard in the first couple of acts and make you feel like, oh, we're getting to the end of the movie. Oh, no, it's not.
Well, like the Disney thing in particular, that seemed to drag.
Yeah.
It felt like they got too bloated with ideas, which is kind of why I hate that sequence, even though there's a lot of really good gags in it.
Yeah, it was just one of those things like we have so much, and we're trying to use it all in one. Like they really bloated it.
Yeah, and it felt too self-promotional as a result too.
You want to use our things. You want to use all of our things.
Also, just shout out to the character name Spamly.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty solid name for a character.
It really was. When he said it, I was kind of like, oh, that's really cute.
And, of course, I do love Alan Tudyk's, because he's in all the freaking Disney live-action stuff now, or animated stuff now. Because, like, he was King Candy in Wreck-It Ralph 1, and he was in Frozen, he was in all this stuff. Like, Alan Tudyk keeps showing up in Disney movies. And in this one, he's Knowsmore.
Yeah, he's the autofill.
Search engine.
He's the autofill, the search engine autofill.
The autofill gags were amazing.
Oh, that was great. That was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. And the fact, just that's a very slight spoiler, but the fact that somebody actually says thank you to him, that was very heartwarming. I love that.
There were a lot of great. The voice acting was really on point here. Like, I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I like Gal Gadot in general as an actress. I didn't think she was going to be very good as a voice actress.
Yeah.
She was. I wouldn't say she was great, but she definitely
did a lot better than I expected.
Oh no, I thought I was going to cringe.
Yeah. No, she did very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say no. It's if you like the first one, you'll probably enjoy this one.
Yeah. I just think one thing we just warn them: just don't. If you're going in for video game references, don't get that excited.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's the thing. There's barely any new ones.
Yeah.
Like there's some online gaming stuff because they go through the internet, of course.
Of course.
But there's really not too many new games. Like we got some stuff like Tapper and Sonic again.
Yeah. I just love the fact that the connection issues for the two characters that we see pop up a couple of times in the slaughterhouse deal of the race car game, and they're just glitchy and finicky. It was like really a PUBG kind of expression.
Very much so. There were definitely some good bits in there for that. I mean, like, they know what they're talking about, but the parries themselves aren't that deep.
Right, it's not about that, though. That's the thing.
No, it's perhaps the greatest sin, though. Apparently, according to the critics.
Yep.
Sorry, we're really ragging on the critics.
I know.
Really
it's like, to me, it's like you have an obvious story. You have an obvious theme, and instead of focusing on that, which is done very well, you're going to talk about all this other stuff that really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. But I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah. No. Solid recommendation, though. Like, I think Wreck-It Ralph 2, just like you said, if you like the first one, very good second showing. Just don't expect it to be so video game heavy.
No,
and,
I mean...
To me, I haven't seen that many animated films this year, but this is definitely one of my top ones.
Well, there's another one we're probably going to talk about really soon that might be even higher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One of my top ones. I definitely know there's a chance that we have one that could top them all.
Oh, probably. So, I do want to thank you for being here again with me, as always, James.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
There's some behind-the-scenes technical stuff we had to deal with, which, fun fact, gave me a stress headache.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
Like, it legit gave me I had a pounding thing in my left temple. But we're powering through, and hopefully next episode we'll be starting to do our 2018 year-end review.
Yes.
Probably going to start with video games just because that's easiest.
Yeah, because the majority of the stuff we want to talk about, or we've already talked about, we've already played, and it's out now, so no use of waiting. Yeah,
there's going to be and then there's going to be a few more movies we'll slip in. Like, we'll probably focus on the superhero ones like we do.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got a couple more still to go.
Yeah.
So we'll probably do video games of 2018 next time with a movie, and then we'll probably do television of 2018 with a movie, and then finally we'll just talk about any other movie stuff, and maybe slip in something small.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, it depends.
I can't think. We might be able to do if we time it right, we might be able to do the third season of The Good Place. But that's a tease.
That's a tease.
We'll find out. Till next time.